What's up, creeps? Exorcyzt here, and you are on Ain't Scared Gaming. And that's the name of the game. We ain't scared. We're going to play on some games today. We've got the Marvel Snap game going on today. And I've built a pretty cool deck. I want to go over it with you. I want to give you the layout, the loadout, and then I'll show you a little bit about how it works. So I call it the Wanderer. And the whole point, the whole concept of the deck is that it's going to actually basically take a character and move a character, and every time that character moves, that character gets stronger. So to start things off, we have like the Human Torch, low cost, very weak card until this thing moves, and then it's doubled. And then once it's doubled, you can actually double this card again. And if you have the opportunity to move it, you can double the double. So even though it's a low cost card, it's still vital to the Wanderer deck. Nightcrawler, I think, is a natural fit here. Nightcrawler is the very first movable card that you see in the game, so people are familiar with Nightcrawler. Multiple Man, like when I first got this card, I was like, what in the hell would I ever use that card for? Boom, here it is. The Wanderer deck needs Multiple Man. Again, every time he moves, he creates a duplicate of himself, so on and so forth. Cloak is an amazingly powerful card, so he's a no-brainer in this deck. On reveal, next turn, both players can move this move cards onto this location. So this is one of the cards that you drop, and it starts to move. It moves the Human Torch. It moves a couple different cards, and if there's, depending on how many spots there are open, it can really change what happens on that property. If it's relatively empty, you move 3 cards all of a sudden, it's very busy. So Cloak is an absolute must. Doctor Strange is not an OP card, which I wish he was, but basically he will take the highest power card and move it to the same location he is. So again, it just adds that level of movement. Vulture is every single time this bald guy moves his spot, he is actually going to pick up and get +5 power. So you can do that endlessly. Move him 3, 4, 5 times, and he's a giant card all by himself. Plus, he's relatively low cost at 3. So that really rounds out the lower portion of our Wanderer deck. We do have some utility cards in there, and I want to talk about those a little bit. So even though my card power is really high, I probably don't have all the cards that will be needed to make this the most unstoppable deck ever, but it's pretty damn close already. So Shang-Chi is a card that, utility-wise, he's very important. If you have somebody that has a Hulk on one spot, or Heimdall, and there's a couple people that are, just huge, 9 power or plus, you drop Shang-Chi, and then boom, that's the end of it. You own that square. And then you have the ability, again, to wander some of your cards into that space. So he's a utility card, but he's important. Let's see. Spider-Man, Miles Morales. He actually is kind of a wandering card. If you had a card that moved the last turn, which by this time, around turn 4, you've already moved at least a couple cards, he only costs 1 to cast. So say it's turn 4 or even turn 5, and you want to drop 1 card at 4, but you can't. 2 cards, you can drop him at 1 and then drop another 3 or another 4. So really a critical card in this deck, and his power is pretty high. Magik. If you've not played in a deck yet with Magik, you're missing out. She automatically will change 1 location to Limbo, which means there's a turn 7 inside the game. And this is really important, especially for a deck like the Wanderer, because once you have a turn 7, you've granted yourself more time to start moving these characters and getting bigger and bigger as you go. You have a lot more strategy with that whole extra turn. So Magik, again, a utility card, but incredibly important to the Wanderer deck. Vision, as much as he seems absolutely awesome, you can move him every single turn, his cost is so high that by the time you play him on turn 5 or turn 6, you're kind of done with him, and he's not moving very far. But high power, so that's why he's in there, and he does have the ability to move in the event we need to move him. The Leader. Now, this might seem like a weird utility card, but it is definitely a utility card. After you've done everything, you've moved here and there, if you don't draw your Heimdall, which is kind of the key card to this entire deck, the leader will help you. You drop him, and on a like anonymous, basically wherever your opponent plays a card, you're going to get one of those as well. So especially late game, talking turn 6, or if you rolled that Magik on turn 7, and there's properties that are out there and available, you can pick up some serious power with the leader. Super OP card, and really important for utility. Last but not least, like I said, the linchpiece of the whole Wanderer deck, Heimdall, is incredibly powerful. You start on this deck, and you'll watch me as I play through it. Most of the cards I'll drop far right, because Heimdall's responsibility when he hits the deck or hits the ground is that you move all your cards from where they're at one location left. So if I front load the right hand side without leaving, I got to leave a space. You can't four-fill that far property, or even the third one. Really, you shouldn't. You put this guy down on the far right, boom, 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 everything moves left, and you still have 8 power or higher. If you've got that turn 7, you got Vision that you can move to accompany him, you got Miles Morales that you can drop on a turn 7 after Magik takes her hold. Lots to do. This is the linchpin card in the entire Wanderer deck. So that's the deck as it stands, a full piece, and I want to give you guys some play. I want to show you how this thing works, and it's funny because at first it seems really, you might have a turn or two where you're dropping nothing, and then you start dropping cards and they're moving all over the place. It really depends on locations as well. Fisk Tower, when a card moves here, destroy it. Obviously that one's going to hurt me a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to go far left, Human Torch, pass the turn, and I'm going to snap because I'm that confident. Plus I have some stuff that I have to, achievements that I have to make, and I need that snap. So let's go ahead. I'm going to drop Cloak on the Gamma Lab, which is going to change everything into Hulk, but I will move the Human Torch to there, and then I'll have 2 Hulks, which he probably will too. This is where those utility cards come into play, though, because I have Shang-Chi, meaning even though at the point of Hulk, we can call it, we'll probably both have 2 Hulks. I'm going to walk in, drop Shang-Chi, and I'm going to destroy both of his, leaving 2 Hulks for me and my Vulture on the far right. So we'll see how it ends out, but I think that's what he'll do. He'll play at least one more card in the center. They'll both turn into Hulk. Scarlet Witch going to take away the bad card for me, which is great. I'll take it. Let's see. Whoever has the least power here wins. So we'll just ignore that spot. That might change the strategy a little bit, given that if I put Heimdall on, I'm moving 2 Hulks over there and I got a lot of power. But right now, boom, we're going to drop him and we are going to wreak havoc on his side. So it's going to be 27 and 3, or 103 once I drop another card there. So you can see that utility card is really important. Now Magik, just for the sake of Magik, I am going to play her. I'm going to play her on the far right. Drop her down on Mojo World. And we're going to open this thing up for a whole another turn. And that gives me a little bit more time. Hopefully I can draw, something small. Maybe Doctor Strange, where I can pull some cards here and there. Heimdall at this point, I'm not even going to get that far. My opponent retreated. So there you go. There's the first rundown. Let's go ahead. We'll run just a few more of these because, I think it's important that you see how the deck operates, and then if you want to reproduce the deck, that you see exactly some of the strategies behind it. But I think I've only lost 1 or 2 games using this deck, and I've played hundreds. So it's a really solid deck. It goes well. I have no idea why I have a Quicksilver. Okay, copy of his hand, which is neither here nor there. Drop Human Torch far right, start to work on that phase where I'm going to start moving these things to the left. I will probably drop my Nightcrawler depending on what's going on there. I might drop Quicksilver and Nightcrawler in the middle. If Asgard, if I can fill that up, if I can grab 2 cards by the end of turn 4, that'll help a lot. You always want to be able to draw more cards unless you're playing a deck that, doesn't support that. So I did draw Heimdall that turn. I do have Magik. I can extend the turn. Really, what I think I'm going to do at this point is, being as I have very few options, snap and end the turn. We'll see what comes of it. He's not playing a lot of cards, so I'm guessing he has a pretty high hand and expensive cost-wise. We do have a problem, though, with the TBA. If you haven't seen this location yet, it's a killer. And TBA states turn 4 into the game. So I'm really out of options here. I think I can still win this one if I play my cards right. Let's just roll the dice and see. I don't know. That TVA location, man, that's a really OP location. So he's going to drop Thor. He'll pull Mjolnir. Let's see. Yeah, I obviously win, so that's good news. But that TBA, as you see, can cause some problems. So there we are with the Wanderer. We've played 2 games. We've won 2 games. We're just going to let it roll. That one was absolutely weird. That TVA dropping on turn 4, man. If you are slow playing a deck or you have something behind, and this is kind of a slow play deck, that made me pretty nervous. I didn't know how well that was going to go. Gamma Lab again, so I'm just going to start dropping cards there because I like as many Hulks as I can get. Now remember, we do have cards in this deck that will pull cards to other locations. So even if I'm lucky enough to drop like 4 Hulks right there, there's a good chance that I can pull somebody else, Doctor Strange or Cloak, and I can pull them from that location and start filling them there. It'll be a matter of getting that done, though. I think we'll probably end up with 2 Hulks from the look of it. Feeling pretty good about this one. I'm going to snap it, lock it in there. We need to get those snap points up. Got a Korg and a Lizard. We're going to drain that Lizard once he turns into a Hulk. I'm sorry, I didn't even want to say that. Fill each player with random cards. I mean, it is what it is, and I don't know what Mojo does. Both players have 4 cards at this location. This gets +6 power. When you play a card, this gains 1 power, so it really doesn't matter. I'm going to drop that. I think Mojo we can use a little bit later down the line. I'm going to come out with 3 Hulks, and I will hope that I can draw my utility card, Shang-Chi, and drop all of his Hulks. That would be the best case scenario. But I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if I'm just going to be drawing random crap the whole time. Is that what happens? Alright, we're going to drop him there. We'll drop Nightcrawler. And we'll just see what we draw next. This is an interesting game. That swap the whole hand thing stole some of my thunder. I mean, how do I showcase you guys a deck without a deck? Giganto. Can only play this at the left location, which I'm going to have to draw something else. Wouldn't you know it, I did draw Shang-Chi. And wouldn't you know it, I can't play him because I filled that spot with Mojo like a dummy. What I am going to do is give myself a little bit more time. We're going to throw an extra turn with Magik. After we throw that extra turn with Magik, hopefully we have something that can draw Mojo away, and then I can drop the Shang-Chi, and we can take this guy down. He's getting pretty fat and pretty healthy. So, no luck there. I'm thinking that I'm just going to pull the leader real quick. I don't necessarily see him dropping anything in the Hulk space this turn. Probably on the last turn he could drop something that's a little bit higher than Mojo. And we'll see how that goes. He is, so the final turn, a little bit late for Cloak. Little bit late for Cloak. He does have 1/9 up there. He's got things, so I could probably still drop that. And just for a little extra power on the side, I can move those two pieces. I think that should do it. I think we'll get the W on this one. If we don't, I'll be surprised. We have high power. We win 2 spots depending on what he flips. That one hurt. That one hurt too. We're still going to come out ahead. We got 2 locations to his 0. And good for a win. So even though I didn't get to show you a whole bunch, we'll run another one. How's that sound? Is that fair? I'm getting a hoarse voice tonight, but we're going to run a couple more. Why not? That way you guys can get the full feel of the Wanderer, even though it hasn't had much time to wander because we keep getting some really weird things. But welcome to live YouTube, right? When you play a card here, return it to your hand. Won't do very good for us in most cases. The only time I've ever seen that location be really nasty is when someone has Iceman and they continuously play it there over and over and over. And as they do that, the cost of your cards starts to suffer pretty bad. So, okay, so we do have Cloak. This will be a good one to show you guys, to highlight really what's going to happen. I'm going to snap here. I think we can pull this one off. Now that we have all the right pieces, when a card moves here, destroy it. So that means I'm going to have to pull my cards to the left a little bit early if I play Cloak, which I'm going to play Cloak. I think I'll play Nightcrawler here, give him some utility to move left or right. But this tower is really killing me with this deck. You don't want that. I don't assume that we'll win that property until I can drop something. So this turn I will move Human Torch as well as Multiple Man. I'll probably be able to drop Spidey for 1. And, crap, I forgot that that's going to jump me back every time. Damn. Okay, wheel. I don't know what I'm going to do about that property. That's a tricky wiki. So what I think I'll do is I will not drop Spidey. I'm going to, who's my highest card? Multiple Man. And so, man, I don't have a lot of options here. I'm going to think this one through a minute, guys. If I move Doctor Strange and play him there, it will destroy the Multiple Man that I make there or pulled there. But there is a good chance. Well, that would just leave him there, and then I would have 1 card. I'm going to do it because that's going to set me up to play Spidey next turn. And I'm running out of time. So, but I think I have the right mix here. I think I have the right combination. Doctor Strange going to pull over Multiple Man. Multiple Man leaving a copy of himself at a location. The new one will be burned. I can't say I'm particularly happy that I don't have a Multiple Man in the middle location as I thought I would. I personally think that's a glitch in the Matrix. So, anyway, it's going to give me enough time. I can drop, can I drop and Spidey? Or I can drop Magik and pull another turn. I am going to drop Magik and pull another turn. I'll drop her here. I can keep things in the middle. And if I have to, I can just pray. Yes, 0 times 0 remains to be 0. Snap logic for you. So, go ahead and see what we can do here. I don't know. We might just have to drop cards. Now, that's technically moving a card, not playing a card. And if I drop Vision here, then next turn I can move him. And by then... So we'll see what he plays in the next turn, and we'll go from there. I'm going to snap on him a couple times because I think we got this. That Iron Man will add an interesting effect to it. But I don't think it's good enough to do anything. Heimdall changes things. Kind of. If I move everything to the left, they'll get their stuff, but then I think they're gone. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play Spidey as... Nope. I wonder if on turn 7 they'll do that, if they'll pull that power. I don't know. That's a weird one. Regardless, I think I will take the chance, play Heimdall, and Spidey over here. And we'll just see what happens. I'm hoping that by the end of the game, it's not going to pull that location's power. And if it doesn't do that, then we've got this one in the bag. If it does do it, well, then we're screwed. Nicely put. So we'll see what happens. He grew. 14. And Spider-Man for the win. And at least Spider-Man for the tie. So he's got 13, 30, and a tie, which would give him the victory, I think, based on power. Sometimes you win them, and you don't even think you're gonna. So, but that gives you guys an idea. I mean, that's the whole metrics between what I call the Wanderer deck. I gave you the full breakdown there at the beginning of the video, so if you want to reproduce it, you want to play with it a little bit, it makes the game a little bit more interesting. It's not like one of your typical midstream beginning game decks where it's just like, yeah, plop. The metrics behind it are what make it really fun because you get to go in there, you get to move things a lot. There's a lot of action all the time. So again, the Wanderer, I recommend it. If you guys want to stay tuned to the new channel, we'll be sure that you have plenty of Marvel Snap strategies. I have a few other decks that we'll go through as well. As we get there, and they all have their own little names. I do have my ongoing deck and a couple of others. I have really solid 10, I call it, and that's a mixture of 10 different cards that are pretty damn strong. On top of that, we got a couple other ones like Burn It Down, which is just killing cards to make them stronger. You know, you got the Maximum Carnage going there and the whole 9 yards. So Disco's kind of a fun one too, but we'll keep going. So I appreciate you being here on the gaming channel, Ain't Scurred, and we will give you a lot more videos to go from very soon. So as I always say, I'm Exorcyzt, and until next time, play way too many games and then sleep tight.